Feet hip width apart. I've made sure you can see my legs today because I blend into the background normally. So hopefully I'm not blending today. Toes pointing forwards. Feet hip width apart. Soften your knees slightly. Tuck your bottom under. So try to use these abdominal muscles here to squeeze, close down from the ribs and tuck your bottom under, tucking the tailbone under. Don't overdo it. So if you overdo it, you tend to sort of sink into it. So it's a matter of just keeping your knees where they are, keeping your ribs where they are, and just scoop and tuck under a little bit and trying to activate around here. Broaden and open out through the front of your chest. Drop the shoulders down. Think about your shoulder blades. We don't necessarily know and feel where the shoulder blades are on the chest wall, but if you imagine that they're here and we're trying to push them down, tuck them down into our back pockets. But essentially, if you just pull your shoulders down away from your ears, that does a decent enough job. Tuck your chin and lengthen up through the back of the neck. Good. All right, so whilst holding all of that, turn your palms up. We're going to take one arm out to the side, one at a time. And as we do that and get into the rhythm of doing those movements, then really concentrate on everything else. So your knees are a little bit bent, your bottom's tucked under slightly, your abs are switched on and working, your ribs are down, shoulders down, chest open, chin tucked. And even though you thought you had all of those things sorted, as I go through them a second time, then you can feel good. Brilliant. Taking the arms forwards and then back. Good. Think more about the backwards movement. So as you bring the arms back, you pull your arms into your chest. No, pull your arms to your sides and pulling backwards. And think about those shoulder blades again. So as you're pulling back, the shoulder blades drawing them together, pulling back. Good. Think about some resistance bands maybe attached to your fingertips and you're pulling back against those. Imagine that resistance. There's a lot of research to say that imagined resistance is almost as good as actual resistance. So that's pretty cool. Good. Now stretch forwards, open, forwards, back in. Keeping your knees soft. Open, forwards and in. Good. Keeping the palms facing up. Good. Bottom under, tummy working, chin tucked. Stretch your fingertips as far as you can. Imagine you're drawing an archway or a rainbow with your arms. Good. Last one. Okay, I'm just going to step back so you can see the tops of my arms. Turn your palms to face in, stretching straight up, and we're just going to pulse forwards and backwards. And I want you to feel what you have to do with the rest of your body to keep the body strong as you're pulsing the arms backwards and forwards. So your bottom's tucked under, your elbows are locked straight, and you're pulsing backwards and forwards. Good. Now pulse in and out. It's quite surprising how much work you have to do around your shoulders to control these movements. Good. Itch. Good. Now rotate the palms out and in. Out and in. Holding the arms strong. Try to keep your breathing relaxed as well. Good. Brilliant. Take the arms to the sides. I'm not letting you rest yet. Pulsing forwards and backwards. And again, feel what the rest of the body has to do to keep yourself strong. Keep your tummy tucked in, your shoulders down. And this might be where you start to feel your shoulder blades a little bit. Good. Turn the palms down and up. Might be getting pins and needles in your fingers at this point. Anyone else? I am. It's all right, unless it hurts. Brilliant, come down. Whoa, achy shoulders. Good. Okay, soften your knees slightly, stretching one arm down to the side. Try and get as far as you can with your fingertips and pull back up. Stretch to the other side. So you can imagine you've got weights in each hand. Remember we were saying that imagined resistance can be just as good as the actual resistance. So on the way back up, imagine you're pulling up against that resistance. Good. Keep your breathing relaxed. Remember not to hold your breath. Stretch your fingertips as far as you can. And just take note if you're getting that little bit further each time. Good. One more each side. Brilliant. So, turn your heels in for absolutely no reason. And then you turn your heels out. Swing on your heels, turn your toes out. Oh my gosh, I've done way too many of these. We just need wide legs. Just bring your legs wide. Squat down and back up. I lost that one by turning the toes out to start with. Good. Sending your tailbone straight down, tucking your bottom under, keeping the ribs down, chest open. Good. Imagine you're going down between two panes of glass. Bring your arms out to the side, still continuing to go down between two panes of glass. Good. Nice. Dropping the shoulders. That always makes me think of a horror movie, this whole between two panes of glass thing. I always think of somebody actually stuck between them. Good. Brilliant. Couple more. Now, stay at the bottom. Bring both arms in. We're opening one at a time. Open and back together. Brilliant. So this is really effective at fixing the hips. It's tempting to roll the knees in and collapse the arches. So try and keep your arches up and your knees wide and you're rotating around. If you're struggling, just straighten the knees just a little bit. If you want to work that bit harder, come right down. Good. But this hopefully keeps your hips locked so you're just rotating through the chest. Good. Come up and have a rest if you want to. If you're hardcore, stay where you are. Lifting alternate heels. Good. This really helps with that whole thing of keeping the knees rotated out. This lifting alternate heels. Good. Take a breath out, drop the shoulders, keeping the ribs down. Nice. Hands on the outside of your knees and pulsing the knees back. Each change of exercise comes with a little bit of relief that you're doing something slightly different. A change is as good as a rest and all that. Good. Nice. And then come back up again. Toes in, heels in, toes in. So we managed to get back there a little bit more effectively. So bending one knee. Upright, drop the shoulders, tuck your bottom under and swap. So stretching through the feet and the ankles. Good. If you were here with us on Tuesday, I did those calf raises. So hopefully some of you are feeling that those calves have been worked a little bit. Good. I didn't manage to record Tuesdays, but I recorded last Fridays and put that on to YouTube yesterday. So if you fancied doing that, I think there's another one going on. These recordings, I edit them and put them out there. Making sure the ankles going straight forwards, the knees going straight forwards, tense through the glutes and the thighs. And I tell you what, this exercise has just really served as a little bit of a rest before I bring you on to the split squats, which I haven't done for a couple of weeks. So stepping to the side like that, high on the back foot. So the starting position is the same as those calf exercises that we've been doing. But what we're doing with these ones is heading straight down with that back knee. So everything pointing forwards, drop the shoulders, tuck your bottom under, which makes you bend that back knee a little bit. And off we go, 10. Back knee down, pull back up. And I want you to draw up through the foot and the heel. So you're even working that back calf. 3. 4, the temptation is to pull the heel down. I want you to pull up. Good, squeezy bum. 6. Tighten both thighs. 8. 2 more. Fantastic. Turn the toes out and swivel round. Pull up on that back toe. Allow the back knee to bend. Tuck your bottom under. However, have everything pointing forwards. Hands on your hips there. And bend. And straighten. Good. Back, knee, heading to the floor. You don't have to go all the way down, by the way. I'm very happy with shallow ones, if that's all your knees will allow. But as long as you're active through that back foot and ankle and calf. Two more. Good stuff. Coming back in. So, done enough there in standing? I think we probably have. It leaves us a bit more time lying down, doesn't it? Which we all like on a Friday. On the end of the mat, feet hip width apart again, toes pointing forwards, hands on the front of your thighs. Drop your chin down to your chest, and then start curling down, sliding down, peeling one vertebra at a time, forwards and down, and then hang. Let your arms go heavy, let your head go heavy, everything hangs down. Breathe in and out a couple of times. Bend and straighten each knee. This gives you a really good stretch down through the backs of the legs. Don't be afraid if it comes up into the lower back. As long as it's not a dramatic pain, if it's just a pulling and a stretching, that means that your sciatic nerves are stretching. Especially if you let your head go heavy, and if you pull your chin towards your chest, so if you get hold of the back of the head and pull the chin towards the chest, you should feel an intensifying of the stretch. And then bend and straighten each knee again. So if you move forward like that. Good work. Coming down onto the floor, onto your hands and knees. So, hands shoulder width apart, and a little bit forwards to the shoulders, especially if your wrists hurt. Make sure, I have quite handy picture obviously of me that I can check. My knees are under my hips, my hands are underneath the shoulders. Quite often people are too close in there, so open out a little bit. And then we're just dropping and lifting around those shoulder blades. Usually what people will do is bend the elbows, trying to do a bit of a press up there. We're keeping the elbows locked and we're just moving around the shoulder blades. Pull the shoulders down away from the ears. Good. 3, 2, 1. Brilliant. And then we're going to stretch the right leg out and lift, down and in. I would really like everyone to tighten as much as they can through the front. Draw the ribs down in your tummy as you lift that leg. That's as far as mine will go before I have to arch my back to get any further. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with me, that will only lift to there. Maybe a little bit tight in the front of the hip, but that is just fine. With Pilates, we work to that block. The block is what you create. You create the stop by tightening around your back and not allowing the leg to go any higher. So you're tucking your bottom under, trying to keep your back flat as we do this exercise. Draw your attention to your arms a little bit. You should be strong through the arms, strong through the shoulders. And keep the leg locked straight as you lift. 4 more, 2 each leg. Make sure you place it back to hip width apart. Last one. Brilliant. And with left leg, I want to make sure it's the one in front of the camera there, we're going out to the side and we're repeating on that same leg, trying to keep those hips level. Again, that leg will only go as far as it will go, as far as your hip will allow, before you start twisting your body. So don't allow the body to twist. Lift and down. Good. Drawing in through the tummy. Good work. 3, 2, 1. If you feel the glute on the leg that is on the floor, that's pretty good. That's the one that's working to stabilize. So other leg sideways now without rotating the hips. 3, have equal weight through your hands. 6. Brilliant. Walk your hands one little step forwards and come forward with the hips and down. Don't worry if your hips are not coming to the floor because we're not staying there, we're coming back and down. If you leave your hands where they are, so remember I did that little walk forwards, which gives you the space to drop down here. When you come back, we're not sitting right back on the heels and bringing the hands back. We're keeping the hands there and dropping the shoulders down. So forwards and arch, back and drop your shoulders to the floor, sticking your bum up in the air basically.
I'm going to apple tree. Full apple tree.
Last one. Lovely. Okay, thread the needle, bring your hands in. These feature quite a lot, I like them. Stretch up and rotate. Back of the hand through, and then we're going to stay there like I've done the last couple of sessions. Stay there with the shoulder on the floor, pushing your hand away and try and just breathe into that stretch a couple of times. Cool. Place that hand down. So the other arm stretching up. Stretch through, push as far as you can, weight there down on the shoulder, and then breathe a couple of times there. Good. Come back up. And then turn around. Sitting. So you all know the drill so far. It's nice to have that familiarity of moving through the same exercises one after the next, but maybe just that little bit of variation as we go. Coming up tall, think about sitting down on those sitting bones. So feel the sitting bones through the floor. Your shoulders and your sitting bones should create that sort of vertical line, essentially. Your heels are planted into the floor and your knees are bent for the first one. Arms out in front. Curl back, tuck under. So remember, I see in a class, and sometimes I can't actually stop people coming all the way back and coming up tall. Now, that doesn't do what I'm trying to achieve in this exercise. What I'm trying to achieve is a very isolated movement through the lower back and come up tall. So it's just from this section here, curling and pulling up tall. As soon as you start leaning back and opening out through the hip flexors, for me, I feel this stop working. I sort of use everything else, use momentum. So it's very isolated, just that pelvis. So the pelvis is tucking under, scooping back, the lower back turning into a C shape, and you should feel that stop. Can't go any further unless I angle my body backwards like that. So feel the stop, squeeze into it, and then pull yourself up tall. Feel the stop, squeeze and tighten into that. Good. Yeah, we're fine. We've got lots of fur. Good. Keep your shoulders down, arms straight. Good. Your knees should slightly straighten. And then bend a little bit. Oh my gosh. Are you... Good. Straighten your legs. Get hold of the right leg wherever you can reach. Toes great if you can. If you can't, don't get too stressed. Good. And then get hold on the other leg. I'll have you all with your nose to your toes by the end of lockdown. Nose to your toes, nose to your knees. Nose to your toes would be a bit weird. I'd have to actually... Anyway, legs straight, pin your toes, pin your legs together, point your toes, curl back, scoop in your tummy, open your arms wide as you come up tall, curl back and open. So this one helps you to open out the chest as you come up tall. Good. Keep your head up and your chest up, curling and tucking under, feeling that stop there. Your legs should move backwards and then come up tall. Move backwards and then forwards on the mat. Good. 3, 2, last one. And come forward. Nice one. Okay, so on to your backs. Bring the camera. So we are on our backs. From here, tuck through the chin, lengthen up through the back of the neck. Feel like you're giving yourself a bit of a double chin there. Broaden out the front of the chest. You should feel the backs of the shoulders coming down towards the floor a little bit. Take a breath in, breathe out and sink your ribs down. Sometimes good to do that a couple of times. Breathe in, breathe out, sink the ribs. And you should feel a little bit of contact of the back of the ribs on the floor as well. Rock the pelvis backwards and forwards. By doing this rocking, again, you can see my body goes up and down the mat. There. And you stop midway. So that should give you a flatness here. And your hands should just about be able to fit underneath your back there. You should feel the little muscles in your lower back tightening to hold yourself there. And once you have that position, tighten through your pelvic floor. So this whole thing is a bit of a journey, learning about your body, learning about what you have to do. The theory is in this neutral pelvis, so not here and not here, you are much more able to use your deep abdominals. So it is quite a nice idea to tuck all the way under and then see how difficult it is to squeeze through the pelvic floor and get those deep ones working. And then arch all the way the other way and try and squeeze and see how difficult it is. Find yourself in the middle, squeeze. For me, that's massive. I can feel the difference. I can feel everything activating. I've been doing this for a while though, so don't worry if it's not so obvious, but it's a little thing to work through to help you understand why we want to find this position each time. So once you've got that position, sorry for all the education, lift and lower one leg at a time. Sometimes, as with everything though, it's worth spending a minute or so going through that so that you understand it, and once you understand it, you can get more out of it. Good. So tightening, drop the shoulders, tuck the chin. You can, the pelvic floor, the reason for that is because it taps into that corset. But actually, if you want to think about pulling your hip bones together, that's another way of doing it. As long as that doesn't make you grip too much with your big outer muscles. Cool. So talking about the bigger outer muscles, that's what we're going to bring in next. Bring the right leg up, tighten and squeeze down at the front, as if you're going to crunch. Pick up the other leg, right leg down, left leg down. Hand across your lower tummy. That hand will sense whether your tummy wants to push out. So draw in and squeeze, up, up, down, down. It's when that second leg lifts that you've really got to engage and draw in with your tummy. Layer up with the next layer of muscles. Imagine you're going to crunch, but don't. It's a crunch with your head on the floor. Good. Make sure those legs are coming up to tabletop each time, which is the shin level with the ceiling. Then we're going to swap legs. Other leg up. Just when you've all got the hang of it. Try to make sure you can continue breathing relaxed into the lower outer lungs as you're doing the exercise. Two more. Brilliant. Give your legs a little shake. So as we did the other day, bringing the legs up to tabletop, drawing in your tummy, tap and lift, tap and lift. So this is level 3, tapping and lifting, tapping and lifting. If you struggle, if your thighs are hurting, if you struggle to keep your tummy strong, tap closer in to your bum. Standard would be keeping the knee the same angle. Keep that 90-degree angle of the knee as you tap down. Good. And as you go with an exercise like this that's repetitive, take a breath, tuck the chin, open the chest, keep the ribs down. As soon as I do all of that, I certainly feel the exercise gets a little bit easier. Good. And then 20 fast ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Keep pulling in. Brilliant. Come back down, give your legs a shake. Good. Okay, as we did before, this is all the levels of the same exercise. Scissors level 5 is when we crunch. Bring the legs up to tabletop. Hold on behind one leg. Stick with the level below if you find it difficult. Straighten that leg up and the other one out. Coming back. Swap and go again. Good. Squeezing in your tummy. Getting that nice hamstring stretch with each leg. If you can hear your knees grinding, then we're in the same camp. As long as it doesn't hurt when you hear that noise, it's fine. Good. 3, 2, and come back down. Brilliant. So there are your scissors exercises all the way through. Bring your heels close to your bum and let's curl up into a shoulder bridge and curl back down again. Just to ease things off slightly. Tucking into curling up and curl back down. Good. Last one. Brilliant. Reset your position. Tuck your chin, shoulders wide, shoulders down, ribs down. Arch, tighten the pelvic floor, feet hip-width apart. And then lowering one knee sideways and come back up. Remember, only go as far as you can before the hips want to move. Take the leg out. Keep the ankle strong. Roll onto the outside of the foot. But keep it strong. Don't let it collapse. Can you see that subtle difference? That's it strong. That's me collapsing onto the outside of the ankle. Keep the ankle strong. Use your glute on the side to take the leg out, to make it an active movement where you squeeze the glute to take the leg out to the side. The other foot pushes down into the floor. Cool. Next level of this one is knees and toes pinned together. I like to put the hands on the ribs, elbows wide. Take the legs over and come back, trying to keep the ribs down as much as you possibly can. Good. Think very active, taking the legs over to the side and then draw in to pull yourself back. Take the legs over to the other side, draw in to pull yourself back. My back clicked there, that's all quite normal. And it's a much more satisfying click to get it when you're holding everything nice and stable. Compared with maybe if you go to the chiropractor and they give it a big smash. Because what we're doing is we're holding everything still and we're creating that stretch naturally. So if it happens to click, then fantastic. As long as it doesn't hurt. Good. Okay, ribs down, keeping that arch, legs up to tabletop, scoop in your tummy. Take one leg all the way out and back in. So not keeping those toes together now, taking the leg all the way out. Stay all the way out as far as you can without the hips shifting. Keeping those headlights pointing straight up. Tuck your chin, open your chest. Good. Keep your breathing relaxed. Obviously, if you struggle with both legs up in tabletop, I understand, just keep going with your feet down on the floor. Keep going with the previous exercise. Or if you find this one particularly difficult, you can keep your toes together. So by keeping the toes together, you made this one a little bit easier as well. But for those of you who are feeling all right about it, the toe and the knee. One more each side. Brilliant. Just bring your knees in to rest that one off briefly. Point and flex at the ankle. Don't know why. It's always a temptation that I have in this position. Cool. Legs back out to tabletop again. Separate them again so they're hip width apart. Hands back on the ribs. And take that whole thing to the side and back to the center again. And off to the other side. And back to the center. Try and draw in through the tummy to pull yourself back. Good. Nice. Think about hollowing through your tummy, pulling the belly button towards the spine. All of those things can be quite useful. And keep breathing. You're kind of wringing out your lungs a little bit here. So it helps to breathe in, breathe out. I don't like to talk about the breathing too much because my classes are quite fast, so I kind of find people would hyperventilate a little bit if I got you to breathe on every single rep. Good. Bring your knees in. Okay, so just as a rest before the next set of exercises, not really a rest, sorry, that's not a phrase you would use for crunches. So hands behind your head, tuck your chin. We're going to do some crunches, keeping your back a little bit arched. So as you crunch, you don't flatten your back to the floor, you keep your back arched. And the difference is if you flatten, you push your tummy out. If you arch and crunch, you pull it in. Good. And down, and you'll see the difference. If you look down, if you practice both of those, you look down, you'll see the difference. Good. Tucking your chin, lengthening the back of the neck. Three, two, one. Lovely. So there you go. There's your rest in between. We are going to do one leg stretch. So level one is for sure a one leg stretch. You stretch the leg out and then you come back in. I'm going to shuffle up again to keep my leg in shot. Stretching away and coming back up. I like to flex the foot on these and push away. And you see how my heel's lifting off the floor there as I go out. So you flex the foot, you squeeze the thigh, you pick your heel up off the floor. Because what you get there is a really nice pull and stretch up through the back of the leg. Trying to keep this bit as strong as possible. For those people that are very weak through their back, so for example, someone who has just had back surgery or something, even on this exercise, they would struggle. So they would arch as they stretch out, and they would flatten as they come in. So be careful. It feels like a very easy exercise, but if you keep that pelvis in exactly the right position as you're stretching out and back in again, then you are doing some work around your abdominals to control it. Think about tightening through your pelvic floor. Good. One more each side. Brilliant. This is the more familiar one. Let's stretch my mat back out again. Tabletop. out, in, down. Squeeze the thighs, you stretch the leg out. Good. If you like that feeling of the stretch down the back of the leg, tabletop, pull the toes up as you stretch out. It gets a bit confusing around the feet and ankles, to be honest, but you can point, flex, point, down. Just an extra little challenge. As you're going, think about tucking your chin, ribs down, chest open. Nice. More each side. Brilliant. Okay, so next level. Both legs in tabletop. Out, back in. Squeeze in your tummy. Out and in. Remember, all of you, stick with the level that you feel comfortable at. This is a hard level of Pilates. Don't be fooled by the fact that I chat away as I'm doing these. It's my job, it's what I do. So don't keep going if it pulls on your back, if you get any pain, if you just find that you're not holding onto your tummy in the right position. Go down a level and spend your time working on that instead. Good. Keep thinking about squeezing in, connecting with the ribs down at the front. Point the leg a little bit closer up towards the ceiling if you're finding it difficult. And keep breathing. Brilliant, bring your knees in. Roll from side to side, that kind of massages through the lower back a little bit. Good. And then, last level of this one, we've got to crunch and bring the legs out to tabletop again. Hands behind, oh no, not hands behind the head, sorry about that. Stretch out the right leg and do that funny thing with the arms. So the right arm crosses over and the left stretches down. You'll be able to see it better on this side. And you keep going with the arms there. Good. Make sure you're in enough of a crunch. Pull yourself up a little bit further. Good. Keep going, tense of the thigh. Squeezing in your tummy. Pointing your toes. Or flex them if it doesn't sit right with you to point them. 3, 2. Oh, brilliant. Knees in. Lovely. Okay. It's about all for our glutes for now. Abs, sorry. Moving on to glutes. So coming onto your side. Tuck the bottom hip back. Tuck your ribs back. Tuck your bottom under. Curl your bottom under. Make sure your feet are in line with your bum by lifting them up slightly there. Good. And then we're lifting this top knee. You should feel it back pocket, not in the thigh here. Definitely not inner thigh, definitely not calf. Good. So hands here is quite good. Where your fingertips are, I prefer you didn't feel it. This is your TFL. When people's glute med, which is on the back, doesn't work properly, your TFL tends to take over. TFL feeds into your IT band. So when people's glutes don't work, this tightens, tugs on the knee, gives you knee pain. Pretty much the main cause of most knee pain. So the trick is to rock the hip forwards, point the muscle straight up, the one that you want to use. If the one at the front is pointing straight up, you'll use that. If the one at the back is pointing straight up, you'll use that. Good. By rolling right forwards, can you see how my knees hardly lifting? The more strict you get into position, the harder it is to lift that knee. If I'm back here, that knee goes all the way. So really lock yourself into position and embrace the fact that that knee hardly lifts. Good. Feet up to hip height. Suddenly you feel like you've got a bit more excursion there of the knee. Draw in your tummy, keep that bit strong. Brilliant. Good stuff. Bottom leg down, top leg forwards and backwards. Keeping all of this strong. This is where all of this wants to shift and arch. Good, now straighten the leg and long leg forwards and backwards. This time my foot looks enormous, especially in red socks. 2 more. Nice, good. Come back down, other side. Onto the elbow there, tuck the ribs back, tuck the hip back, rock that top hip forwards, scoop and tuck under, feet in line with your bum, lifting the top knee. There, not allowing this top hip to rock back. Breathing, always a good idea. Go at whatever speed you like.
Word problems. Yeah, word problems.
She's done her word problems, Cam. Good. Feet up. Feet in line with your bum.
I did spellings too.
You'll feel you can move that hip and lift that knee a little bit higher. Good. Anyone who does have knee problems, practice these every day. It makes a big difference. 20 with the feet down, 20 with the feet up. Good. And frankly, if you just find them hard, practice them every day. You could probably stave off any knee problems or back problems that may come along. Bottom leg down, top leg forwards and backwards. Keep the foot and ankle strong at the end of the leg. Good. Draw it in your tummy. Any runners out there, you might want to just do these every day anyway. It can really increase your performance to have these glutes firing properly. Quite good to run through one of these series just before your run. Even if it feels like it tires your glutes, it actually switches them on and makes them more available to you as you do your run. Stretch the leg out. Now forwards and backwards. Good. And frankly, I've had some quite good success with cyclists as well, getting their glutes firing and increasing their performance. Guys, shh. Last one. Brilliant. If anyone wants to see what goes on in the background here, you can always hear, but
Gummies underneath the table.
Hiding from you. It's always nice to know what happens in the background. Cross your legs and come forwards. If any of you are wondering why it's always so tidy this way, that way definitely isn't. Good, good. Okay, so a couple of stretches just to finish off. As usual, hands and knees. Just a few lift and drop through the back to ease off through the spine. As we're challenging abs all the time, the back is bound to feel just that little bit achy. So it's nice to move and stretch it. Good. Turning your toes under, stretch your bottom up, shuffle to a position you feel comfortable with and drop down through the heels. Pushing one heel down at a time, stretching the calves, stretching through the back of the leg. Good. Lovely. Walk your hands to your feet. Embrace, hopefully, the fact that you've gone that little bit further down here. Fingertips maybe on the floor if they weren't before. Good. And curl. Back up again. Good. I don't want any of you to worry that we don't always get a big set of stretches done at the end. Throughout all of that session, we're stretching, we're mobilizing, we're moving the joints. And it's not like doing a cardiovascular workout where you know, you use the muscles powerfully, that's when you have to stretch off afterwards. With Pilates, it's, you know, the whole shebang all the way through. So I don't want anyone to worry that we don't necessarily get a big chunk of stretching at the end. I'd rather work you all hard for as long as I can. Okay, take care. Have a good day.